sudden, now we have to sit and play online at home. What is this? They will be wanting to get in real good. But now we see, once again, planes in the sky. Could be a Sarky plane for Erangel. We will see in, well, a matter of 1 second. Will they be out? Won't they? They will be out indeed.
Now, one thing, right, what you're just saying there, teams coming down from Pro League, the big difference, and it might not have played it yourselves from home, but for between online and playing at LAN, the difference is massive. LAN is where it's at, but LAN is where it comes down to you have to have your ultimate skill being played off there.
Yeah.
And it is an adjustment that's certainly needed there.
Also, just the performance in the game. I mean, barely any ping, no desync, all that stuff. Everything just runs so smooth on those LAN clients. But of course, we kind of have a server admin sitting in all our houses. That would be useful. But I mean, PUBG is a big company, but not that big.
That's like some crazy like Microsoft levels of
send out a person to all the players. Like, you will have your own online server
dedication.
Available. Yeah. Nonetheless, as you see, everyone has left the plane at this point. Once again, oh no, actually, my Unseen, he's over there. I was like, once again, there are only 3 guys in the server, but looks like Kebab, they do have Unseen with them out west. And it seems like this time around, Bencona said, well, we ain't going up in that sort of mix-max up there once again. So they go back to where they've been before in the Ganka split.
Now, the southwest is a little bit more crowded. We've got Swarm, Wizards, and Unique all down there this time around. So we might see some early pop-offs. Kebab's taking their usual spots, no problem. But it's actually going to be North Georgia Pole, Zaki, and Severny, which are kind of open and empty for now. Obviously, Quick Math will go up to Severny, but they need to get their vehicles.
What is Wizards doing down here?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it wasn't the worst. I guess it wasn't really a Yasnaya plane, but it wasn't the worst Yasnaya plane.
They could have got there.
Yeah.
They definitely could have got there.
I mean, there are 2 Yasnaya teams, and both of them said, nope, ain't gonna happen. But they've both gone south. One of them going Quarry Split, the other team going down all the way towards Primorsk, and now Circle going, well, center, but north. Whew, that's gonna be a lot of teams rotating out from the southwest.
Scoom's like, all I needed was a scope there. All I needed was a scope.
And Cypher was like, all I need is a parachute that won't fail me.
Still shots coming out towards him, but he is just narrowly avoiding it all as for now.
He got it. Actually, I just saw a tweet from Siphon just before as well, saying it feels so weird playing your last day of competitive PUBG ever.
Oh,
I hope to put on a good show for you guys. So for those of you guys who don't know Siphon, Danish PUBG player, he's been in it from the start, used to play with G2, really, really great guy. Left-handed PUBG player as well. We don't see a lot of esports, but like, I just remember meeting him one time, going up to him like, wait, something's off with your mouse and keyboard. What's going on? And then, oh my God, you have your mouse in your left hand. It's not something you see very often. But really great guy, and has decided to call it quits on his competitive PUBG career. So big shout out to Siphon, great guy, and well, we'll probably see him again in the future, some one way or another.
I'm sure we will. There's the Swarm, right? We've seen a few games from them where they've looked individually good. They're starting to get themselves up on these placement points. They're another team that certainly needs another game where we see a high strats coming out from them. This time they've taken Primorsk. They've got a few more teams around them to fight off here. But it's these changes we've seen for both Wizards and them all of a sudden to say, well, wait a second, we're just going to go down to this southwest side.
Yeah, we haven't seen them down here yet, and we're 22 games into it. So for teams like Unique and Kebab, who's been down here before, even for Meteor Makers to a certain extent, this is going to apply pressure to how they can rotate, because they aren't used to this many teams coming from their side of the map.
That's actually a really good point, right? Because MYM found it difficult when Unique was staying too long. But imagine if Unique go away and then Wizards and Swarm are just crossing at the same time. They see him and go, oh, okay, well, we'll just take this fight as well.
Also, just the whole thing with, I mean, we know the circle, we know where teams are, we know where to expect teams to go. I mean, we know that this compound is normally open. We can go here, rotate through here. I mean, they've played so many games in this tournament already. And, well, now things might just have changed up for them. So hopefully they had some vision on that plane after they jumped out towards military that they saw, well, there are a few more teams over towards the western side than we've seen before. Should be info well needed for them when they do start rotating.
Now, quick math. They've got all of the north to themselves.
Yeah.
If it moves north, they're okay. They were late to the party, but it doesn't really matter because you've got all the time you want now to get around. And you're also going to see Tuo Yuo come in here and say, oh, okay, I'll just get a crate straight off the back of this. No problem at all, because he knows there's no one else even close by.
King of the North will get himself not only a ghillie full level 3, 15 times scope, but also an MK14. A very good weapon to be picked up right there, especially up in the north here where we see so many open areas. But now Venkonas, one of the first teams to start their rotation, and Besiktas, having moved out of Pachinki early, well, they're right here to start the engagement.
And this is the thing, right? This part of the map is very crowded. And already teams are saying, okay, we'll take the risk. We're going to force our way up just a little bit, get ready for a rotation. Because when the circle does come in, we have no idea exactly where it's going to go just yet. And it is one of those ones where we already know that it's so crowded that it could be crazy fights going on. And it is going to be a serious struggle if you have to move up north.
I actually like to see that Test and... Test and Shiske, I believe it was, they jumped out of the vehicle. They're like, well, you're going to shoot at us? Well, we're going to turn it on you. But that's what, wait, that's what we normally do. You're not supposed to do that. And they actually drove off because of it. So, bit of your own medicine coming in right there. Fortunately for them, they did manage to stay alive with all their players up.
Now, Quick Math will soon hear that some players are already making their way over, which will give them the information. And, okay, we now have to be a little bit more careful, maybe group back up, because you don't want to be picked apart by teams already making a fast rotation over and find yourselves in a bad spot. Because like we were just saying with Quick Math, you were number 2 before we started week 3. You were in such a good spot. Now you're down in 5th or 4th, I believe, off memory, and their points could easily be taken over if they keep having these bad games where they drop out in like 4th, 15th, 14th place.
And the thing for Quick Math is, now that you said it yourself, they're the only team north. They pretty much still are. I mean, they have Besiktas sitting in Q, but that's pretty much the only team anywhere close to them. They have so much time to figure what compound do we want to go for, how do we want to play this, and all that stuff. But sometimes that gets you a bit too greedy. Like, oh my god, it's still free? I guess we'll just four-way split this, and then all of a sudden they'll get pulled up on. And that's what we've seen happen, right? Because the first couple of days, they were way up there. We were like, how the hell do Quick Math continue to get into the late game? Because they took center compounds, no one ever contested them, despite them sitting with one guy in each building. They kept doing that, but then teams realized, well, more often than not, they only have one guy there. And then they started pulling up on them. It cost them. And now, well, we have to see, do they still play with the same sort of respect for Quick Math? Or are they going to continue saying, well, if it's Quick Math, odds are there's only one guy, let's go for him.
Our reciprocity. A team right on the wire of getting within that top 8.
Yeah.
A team that many expected to be comfortably within the top 8. They've still got a lot of work to do across the 3 games. And honestly, the first engagement they take, I'm scared for them.
I mean, the thing is, reciprocity isn't a team that people expected to do well. People expected them, we expected them, to be sitting in that top 5 position.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the thing is, we've seen them both as individuals and other teams, but also as this team have really good performances. And somehow, I don't know if it's the lobby and what they're up against. I think they don't used to have that many people loot around them, so it kind of limits their rotation space. But to see them sort of fall off time and time again in these games is a big surprise to me, and things clearly have to be done differently in the future.
Now, a team that is on your screen at the moment, but I'm just going to mention it. Erangel. They're going back to their old far rotation tricks. They're not in the blue this time, at least, but they've moved all the way up north. They're going to take a bit of space around Stalber, and there's no teams that have decided to go that way, right? Everyone's doing a bridge cross of now and still taking some engagements here. So for Erangel, they've got a clear route up north, and they'll be able to chill for just a little bit longer until the next circle pops.
And that's the thing. You have 2 teams that normally loot Yasnaya. They both jump southwest this time around. So much room doing what some people would call the face rotation. It used to be them just going from Multi Power up north of Yasnaya. They're doing that far northern rotation because they have control there now, and then they can always look back and say, should the circles pop south of the river, we can always go back the way that we came from. But interesting, the fact that they have so much room, probably weren't expecting that themselves either. Look at me, Jamaica's so cautious. Are they here? Are they camping us? Are they? Nope, they're not. You can safely pass over.
And I don't blame MYM at all, because so many times they've tried to cross this bridge. For the whole of week 1, it was completely fine for them to cross. There was almost like an agreement. Unique went first, and MYM came after. This time around, there's not just more teams there, but there's teams that are willing to wait for it. And the new circle pops. We're still staying pretty north, but it's gone very much center of this all.
And this is the thing, right? Because this is not the circle, the next one, where you get that guarantee to go on one side. This one could still go dead center. So teams can't fully commit to one side. They might have to, because there simply ain't enough room for everyone in here to get like a compound with proper room between each other. So they might have to either fight for something or stay in the blue, because you just don't want to get locked down on the wrong side of the river once that next circle pops.
That's the scary thought of it all, right? You having to cross a bridge still plenty of teams remaining, and you know you're all fighting for this very tiny bit of space. They had a rough circle last time around, and this one is just a true guessing game.
And I like what we see QuickMath do there, actually. They're sitting 2 guys in the compound south. It's a smart compound to take the garage compound, but then instead of taking the compound north of that, they take the sort of hillside just south of it, so they don't commit to the compound, but they say, you ain't taking this compound, because if the circle comes, that's ours. So they're constantly keeping people away, rather than just locking yourself down inside a compound. Really smart playing from QuickMath, and smart split that they're setting up.
Now for us, used to be called Looking for Team. They obviously found a team.
Congrats, again.
And now they're within that top 8, which gives them an opportunity to represent exactly as that team would expect, right? They've put up a good performance this last couple of days, and can they continue it? That's going to be the key question. They've already started their rotation round, and they've got a bit of room here to the north still. Reciprocity going for a 2-2 split once again. MYM making their way around, and they're going to take the longer route, right? They're going to go through Georgia Pole and come up through the north and probably fight it off there.
Okay, then this time around, no wizards to fight them. It's gonna be a, oh, thank God we can get a rotation where we don't have to start shooting before the game's even started yet. So there'll be plenty of room, because Erangel, they made that, as you said earlier, and far north on rotation all the way over Severny. So nobody to contest them. They'll have plenty of room to roam, but of course nothing's guaranteed until these next couple of circles pop, because we still don't know whether we'll be going north or south of the water.
And this is just the driving simulator as of now, right? It's the waiting game completely.
And that's the thing, because this is where people go, oh, it's so boring, they're just driving, there's nothing going on. But this is what sets the team up for the remainder of the entire game. That's what I keep talking about. That's what I'd like to put so much emphasis on. It's so important, this part of the game. It might seem boring because there's not a lot of shooting. Now we do see Savage taking that fight with Dastish, but it's so important for these teams in order to get a good late game that they get this working. Nice shots coming in from Savage there as well, as he gets a knock onto Dastish. And I'm not sure where the remaining Unity players are. It seems that they've decided to roll off.
Yeah, they didn't want to try and fight that. They're not willing to engage just yet. Elgig able to force them away. But very much what you were saying there, Toby, is it's true. It doesn't matter if it's a driving simulator for now, because this is a tactical setup for the late game, and that's what we like to see. Great minds being used here. What we do see is potential some great shots coming out. Hugstar, can he make it connect? He's tapping away ever so carefully here. Boom. Does finally get Orange Snow out of it, and the rest of his team are following in suit, and that means that they're going to go with the hope that they can eliminate Unity.
Wait, car, wait. Oh, there you go.
Don't try that at home, kids.
Oh, I love to see it, though. It's hilarious. Thank you, Stars, for securing yourself that vehicle. Unfortunately, didn't get run over by it. Would have been horrible to see. But yeah, I mean, you said it yourself right there. It's the important part of the game. Get yourself in those proper rotations, and hopefully you guessed right as far as the circle, because it's gonna go south.
So many teams committed to the north. It's always the way. It's a 50-50 guessing game, and sometimes it just can't work out. Desperado is going to be happy with themselves, as is Unique and Venconus. Reciprocity, they kind of went for a 2-2 split, so it can work out for them. QuickMath have got to get their way in as well, and we have plenty of teams up north.
9.5 team committed north, and well, I mean, for El Giganten, they're actually doing the smart thing here. You know what? We might have to tank some blue, but we went all the way over this way. We know it's safe. Go back the same way. There's no reason not to do it. It's still in the game. You have the meds you need. Go back the same way you came. You even killed the player. You can take all his meds. Go back the same way that you came from and get those safe rotations on in. Snoopy now, trying to see if he can get into safety. Baladerup saying, well, ain't gonna happen, at least not for right now. Look at the positioning. They have completely pinned him down, and all of the remaining Avangard players, they're in all kinds of trouble.
Avangard, they are getting lit up from every single side of the map. They tried to rotate through. It wasn't going to be a safe rotation no matter what. Maxizor and Asverin, they're trying to just go through this in their vehicles, but this is not going to be easy, and now only Asverin remains.
We need a home. They're coming out guns blazing, not giving anything to chance. They're completely annihilating Avangard. And right now, I say this, yeah, it is only Esperin remaining. Really good job by them. More shots being fired. This time around, it's Blaston who's under crazy fire from both Meteor Megas and Lipsins. We need a home team right there. Pilato once again in on the action. They have to start rotating, though, as well. And we saw right there, Meteor Megas, ooh.
That was lucky. Jesus, Asverin, you are on your own, my son. That could have been so bad. Just about manages to hang in there. Gonna get back on his bike and just risk it a little bit more. Why not?
Now it's gonna be fun to see if he somehow gets into the top 8 placement off of having just survived that, because that seemed...
9 times out of 10, you die for that.
Yeah. Especially in a game like PUBG, you would be very much killed by that. But then again, sometimes it goes the other way, and you survive. For now, at least, he has a pretty safe rotation going into the circle.
Now, let's look at this we need a home position, right? They set up perfectly for teams to rotate in. They took the fights. They destroyed Erangel. They took shots onto other teams as well. MYM were close by, but they weren't even able to get engaged in any of it. Beautifully done from We Need a Home. I fully respect that.
And look at how many people are still in the blue. It's so difficult when you only have 2 places to really rotate on over. Finally, we see We Need a Home making that rotation in, and they really need to do that now as well because, well, the blue is going to connect now in just a matter of seconds, and it's going to start doing a lot more damage. This is where we move from 1 damage to, I believe, 4 damage per tick, and then you just really see the difference in that.
Yeah, and that's it, right? They can tank it for a little bit, but as we get to these stages, it becomes a whole world of pain to deal with.
Yeah.
Now, Rubsy, he's rolling up on his bike. Reader's got to react. Can't stand out there in the open too long. Surely Rubsy knows the position. Medding himself back up. Problem with when MYM, they did take so much damage there.
Look at the damage being done. 4 damage takes first. Oh my god, Rita gets him and gets knocked to the circle immediately after. Oh, that's unfortunate. And Roopsie, I'm sorry, buddy, but you're down as well.
Oh dear. Intense. Intense. You can't be doing that, buddy. That's just not allowed. Oh my god.
That's the dumbest thing I've seen in a very long time. Why?
Okay, I'm gonna be nice again. I'm gonna give it to him and say that the blue was tanking him. He was scared. He wasn't sure maybe if there was another We Need a Home player. I'm giving him a lot of opportunity here to make up for it. At this point, Asverin's saying, what are you guys doing?
Wow.
Now, We Need a Home will clean up the rest of the MYM players as they try to come through, so it kills galore for Lipsin.
I don't even know what to say anymore.
Just say nothing at all.
I can't. I mean, that's legit the stupidest thing I've seen in a very long time. Okay, Unique taking out Besiktas. Well, Unique is still, I mean, off that win, they got into the top 8. So they still have a lot of killing and shooting to do. Siphon getting himself some kills there too. But as we see right here, at least for now, Ruins has become the center point for some of the teams, but Ruins isn't inside the next circle, so, well, they gotta figure, do you want to fight our way through, or call it truce and then take a fight once you're inside?
Besiktas under pressure here, and again, Unique looking good overall. Teamwork is coming in. 4 players still alive. They've taken down Besiktas, and they're now in a good position just on the edge of the circle, waiting for these other teams coming through Ruins, who will have to rotate out, like you mentioned, Toby, which is just going to make them under more fire, and Unique are going to be ready for it. As Lipsin, he picks off the last member of MYM, they get annihilated, and Lipsin, he's just racking up the kills.
They just eliminated themselves. Straight up, Meet Your Makers.
Yeah. Came in behind everyone else, rotated in, took a lot of damage. To be fair, Rita didn't even need to take that fight because they could have just waited at the time. But still, 3 people left up for We Need a Home. Now they're going to push their way in. They've just got to be careful of how many teams are actually in Ruins. I don't think everyone's fully aware of what is going on here because there is 4 different teams around this one area, and 3 of them aren't within the circle.
For us, they're going to be making that front run and Amorous all by himself. Spots 1. When do you start shooting, though? Spots 1. Spots 2. Spots 3. Where's that last player? There's still 4 guys up. Spots number 4.
Oh, boy.
And runs off. You know what? Thank you, Venkonas. Thank you, Amorous, for not going over. Now you can maybe consider starting shooting because you have so much info to give him. There you go. He actually reveals himself too. A lot of shots being missed, though. Amorous, you had everything, and you threw it off with the wrong aim right there. Unfortunately for him, doesn't get to see another day. Well, he'll have to wait until the next lobby, that's for sure. But unfortunately, good info, good trigger discipline, but couldn't hit it when he had to.
You had all the time in the world. You could have tried to tap him down, but you sprayed and prayed, and it didn't pay off. Venkonas, they're taking a load of damage. Unique's come into third party. They're the only team out of all these teams fighting that's within the circle. Unique are looking to get some damage done. We Need Home are eliminated. And Mayamore trying to tap some more players down from For Us. And this is just chaotic. No one knows where to look or where to turn. And as they continue to poke through, For Us get eliminated.
And a team that's getting a lot of kills off of this is Unique. They have a good high ground position on the edge of the circle right there, and they were able to just tap away at all these guys. We just talked about them sitting in 7th place. They really want to make that gap bigger between all these teams above or below them, I mean.
And this is where it's absolutely crazy, right? Because the teams on the East have not had to deal with anywhere near as much of this.
Yeah.
They've just been sat there in a while, kind of chilling in the circles. They had compounds to play around. Desperados have hardly had to move. Kebabs are only just now having to leave their compound. Unique have cleaned up pretty much everyone, bar the 2 players remaining on Venconas, and they've still kept 4 alive.
You see, quick math split off from one another, and Silencio is inside the circle, but Jupsik and Tuho ain't. They have to somehow figure, how do we go past El Giganten to get over to our teammate? Because it's not going to be easy when you have the entirety of Reciprocity on the other side. They can't do a whole lot, though, either, because they have Desperados holding them down.
This is where it's going to be a lot of down to these crossfire positions because, okay, Unique, you got a bunch of kills there. You're looking strong. You defended well. But you're now going to have to play off the hillsides because you can't find a compound now.
Trying to play it off of the rolls that you have out here, the small hillsides. And, well, I mean, that's the thing. As you said yourself, that's all they have. I mean, that's all that's left. You have Watertown. I've never seen a game end actually inside of Atlantis. But, well, I mean, one time has to be the first. And I mean, it's going to be tricky for all these teams. This is the cover you get. Look at how open it is. Most teams will leave their vehicles at this point, because if they haven't been shot at finished already, by the time you make your next rotation, believe me, it will blow up. So they'll be forced to make runs from here. And sure, they still have a smoke. You see 4 smokes on MFS, but they will use all of those on the next rotation, and then the fights after that, because there's still 3 more circles to go after that. That's where things get really tricky.
Now, interestingly enough, right, team we didn't see too much from thus far is going to be Sweaty Nerds. They're still within it. They're still in a good spot up in the north, in the circle as well. But next circle, unless they get some extreme luck, they're probably going to have to move.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for them. There's a big open push down towards the road there. They could potentially make it out into Watertown, but it's all going to depend on where that next circle goes. Tuho and Jupsik uniting forces and taking down Savage. Not a whole lot more he could do up against the MK14. Seems like Quick Math did manage to find one another, though. So in Silencio, not by himself anymore, and El Giganten trying to get in on the action.
MFS, nice shots there on to play with me. Unique, going to try and get him back up, using the smokes to make it work, but they do have to be cautious. Vencona's still there. Wizards shooting onto them as well. And they're a little bit too far out in the open in my eyes. They're not using any hillsides to give them some cover. They're standing around. They just have to rely on the smokes at this point. And that's where it gets a little bit too sketchy for them. Reciprocity, we spoke about them. They're still within it. Wizards, they're loving life right now. They've got all the cover they want.
The circle centers up. This is going to be so difficult because this is legit an open push. You see it right here. The area between the Swampler and Broken and Wizards. That's the center point of the circle. And there's nothing. I mean, there's a tree or 2. You can count them on one hand. That's all you get for cover. It's going to be so difficult, that center point. So many teams will have to push their way into that, if not up towards Wizards. They're sitting pretty safe inside of the compound on the edge of Watertown. It's going to be really difficult for all these teams to find a place to lay low, because 30 players alive still. By the time this circle's pushed all the way in, we're going to be to somewhat like 15.
And the one benefit Unique have, right, is that they've been able to do so much damage early on. And they took a lot of the teams that rotated in from Ruins from the west side, that they've got a lot of clear ground, at least ahead of them now. Where the big fight going off in the moment is this one you're watching on your screen, because Kebabs are being shot at from all different directions. Desperados are nearby as well. We've got Quick Math up there, Sweaty Nerds, Reciprocity, all of them. And even Broken from Swarm chilling on his own.
So look again, getting eliminated there just before as well. That we really would have wanted themselves a good game off of this, but not a whole lot they could do. Pinned down between 3 teams actually, with Sweaty Nerds pushing on over Kebabs now. Well, they're forced into the open. We talked about teams having utility for now, but once this push is over and done, they won't have anything remaining. She's taken down immediately as Play With Me gets damage done. So Sarah joining in the action now as well.
Unique looking for more finishes, more kills of what they can get. MFS gets knocked back down, and Unique are just hitting all the shots this time around. Still 4 players up, 1 is knocked, but they might be able to bring him back up using the smokes there. This is such a strong play from Unique on back-to-back games.
Yeah, there's so many different teams fighting right now. You see this fight with Kebabs and Unique going on. On the other side of things, you have 3-way fight between Quick Math, Reciprocity, and Sweat. And there's finally a team goes down, and that's the second game in a row that Unique gets double-digit kills, and there's still way more players to be dealt with that they could potentially get kill on. Andy, despite having only about 15 HP, pushes this up, pushes it aggressive. Last remaining player on his team, gotta figure, do I have time to get those meds off? Gets himself reloaded and starts popping those meds now as well. Smart decision from him.
Desperados, they're trying to sneak up on Unique. So Zera's around there, a few shots come out towards him. Yubica's well aware of what could be going on.
That's the
Heard
thing,
the
right? Look at the
car.
cover. I mean, they have no cover available. Once they're visible on that hillside, it's completely open. There is some foliage, sure, that you can work around, but that's pretty much all you get other than the smokes and vehicles you provide yourself. Your circle's popping in just about 10 seconds time. Will it be further out in the open, or are we making our way up towards Wizards in the compound? Only time will tell.
And the thought process here for Unique is going to have to be very, very key, because if you're playing the long game here, you need to hold on to your smokes. Now, Wizards are going to not all be forced out of the compound. They've still got a bit to play from here, so
yeah,
very good spot for them. Reciprocity in there far off towards the east. This fight's going to still continue. Sweaty Nerds get eliminated in 8th, but a much better position from them, at least in placements.
For those of you who don't know, that compound you seem to see up there by them in Wizards is not actually a compound, it's a tower that you can get up to if you want to, but it's not the smartest place to go now, though. Desperados and Unique squaring off against one another. A lot of damage being done, one player down on each side. Ubika might be able to get rest here, but right now, Torcera just getting out with his life ahead.
So much damage being done here. These teams are fighting away, standing. You've got Dre needs to back him up. They're trying to get the reses on go as well. Standing needs to provide some cover fire as Desperados now begin their assault. They start to push forward. They smell the blood and they want the kills.
Headshot onto Fake. Nothing you can do to counter that. Really gets finished off as well. Called the Mensa in a frontal position. Might be able to do something here. Drainies, did he spot him? Yeah, I think he did. Immediately goes down, swatch over to the red dot. He knows that people are up close. Nice shots connected as well, but down he goes. Calvin with a top-down position. Gets into a good one, and somehow, what? Unique actually pulls it off. They were under so much pressure, and somehow they make it out of there alive.
You know what that was? That was where it would think it was Drainies picked up Ubika. Ubika got himself up medded, and then a third player comes into it. They thought it was only 2 left, and Unique managed to stand strong. Great work from them. Quick Math now eliminated as well. And we are down to our final 5 teams with only 11 players alive. Broken, it's completely surrounded by Reciprocity as well. He needs to find himself a good bit of cover here as Test within that circle gets found by Wizards. He's trying to crawl in, but Wizards are saying, hey, this is our spot. You're not getting anywhere close.
Important game for Wizards to get into the top of here. See Broken by himself. Oh my god, that nade could have been deadly had Scoom not reacted so quickly. Great turnaround and headshot coming into Broken. That could have been the death of 2 of them, and Unique would not have wasted any time trying to get those kills.
Now the question is, right, Wizards are going to have to move sooner rather than later as well. How long do they want to spend in here firing and shooting off? O'Connell managing to tamp down Ubika. That's one player from Unique gone already. Drainey's trying to pull off the shots, looking to do some damage, but he could be focus fired from both sides. He's hardly got any cover here.
And this is the thing, right? Because Unique, they're sitting, I believe, now in 7th place. And for both Reciprocity and Wizards, they don't want Unique to get this many points. I mean, they need them down and out because they're one of the teams they have to beat in order to get on up there.
For Unique, it's about buying your time here. Keep applying the pressure, but try and stay alive. Standing go for some shots. T-Bone getting up close and personal. The nades go out. Just avoids them. Down to who's going to be the next to take the firing shots. Reciprocity know where they are. Kind of come in and try and take some shots, but they're having to fire at both of them long range here.
That's the thing, they know they have to leave the building. See them jumping out now as well. Drainies, who wants to contain them, but it's really difficult from this angle. So every time they peek, Reciprocity shoots over towards them as well. Now they do make the run on up towards the tower. We talked about it just before. But how can they make the play further out from there? It's going to be really difficult. See, every time they peek over the edge there, they'll be taking shots towards them.
The circle starts to creep in. Drainies took some damage. He's going to med himself back up, and he has to react quick because he's going to have to make that push in. They can play off the south side of the circle, but already Rafi making his way down to try and provide some good awareness on understanding of where Unique may go. Reciprocity still using the vehicles as much cover as possible. They're within the circle, so it's not as big a deal for them. As O'Connell finds them, starts to take some shots. Hicks hacks Eddie up there, but he takes a little bit of circle damage. Does need to be careful, needs to be aware of what's going on. Damage coming out towards Reciprocity. Headshots have been hit.
All of Reciprocity are within the circle, and you see Rafi also a pretty good off-angle position where he can do some damage from, because all the focus right now, at least for Wizards, is on Scoom and Haxetti Stanton, trying to make the run on up. But look at the circle, you have 1 car, and you have a tree. That's pretty much all you're going to get. That's all that Rafi and Reciprocity is going to allow you to take. Drainies, did you get spotted there? Maybe not. He's inside the circle for now. 5 seconds to go until it's going to start closing into the inevitable death of all but 1 team. Still 3 remaining, and everyone's trying to buy as much time as they can.
Drainies needs to be careful. He just took 60 damage out of nowhere. 118 though. What a beautiful headshot, Drainies.
And crucial headshot too, because I don't think either Skoom or Exceed can come over and get that res on up. That was their flank, and there's nothing they can do from that. T-Bone tried to make the run in the open. Look at his positioning. He's miles out there. Drainies does go down in the end. Skoom goes down as well. Wizards could actually do something here.
Wizards got the advantage. It's all on Haxetti. Both his teammates knocked. He tries to use the car for cover. He takes down T-Bone to start off with, but Aros pounces on top of him, and Wizards take the win. 5 kills, but they get the 10 points off the win. A very strong game from Wizards. They held strong for that entire time, but